Oh my God, it's going to be tough to keep the opening to 30 minutes, I think, today. What happened? Lots of horses racing, an update on a couple of horses, a huge update on one horse. The webcast is going on this week. Stakes coming up, where the horses are going, who's leaving, when they're leaving, what's going on. A lot to talk about today. Let's start with racing from this week. So White Tiger raced in the BL last night. You noticed he got away in the front. He looked a little hot, and then he fizzled right out. Not that shocking. Andrew scoped him after, said a little bit of mucus and a little bit of blood. Andrew said borderline blood to put him on Lasix. I'd like to put him on Lasix because it's only going to get hotter this time of year. He's right. So White Tiger is going to enter the Lasix program, I believe. Not the end of the world. Obviously, after we sold Lawmaker over in Europe, you know, no Lasix, no hobbles usually means a lot of money, but at the same time, we got a lot of stake races for this colt this year. Now, I know for those of you out there who have picked up quick enough in the last 10 seconds, you realize 2 heats for the Hambletonian and no Lasix allowed on Hambo Day kind of takes him out of the running. Well, it's 5 weeks away. We'll see what takes place in that 5 weeks. Obviously, I don't think White Tiger's a stone cold bleeder, but if we can dry him up, clean him up, and keep him healthy, what I'm trying to say is it's Andrew's call. It's Andrew's call what goes on. Listen, when you've got Green Manalishi, Green Shoe, the horse in New York, what's his name? It doesn't matter. There's a ton of world-class horses on top of their game right now and really, really good. Do I want to race our horse 2 heats, which every time it seems like the hottest day in the year in the universe, on Hambo Day? I'd love to race White Tiger in the Hambo, but given the Lasix and how tough this crowd looks this year, probably not the smartest thing to do for all of us, including the horse. I'll leave it up to Andrew, but I can tell you, 5 weeks away from the Hambo, June 22nd, 2019, my vote is no. But we'll see. I'm back. That's news. I know I was back qualifying. Qualifying's not racing. Last night was a little odd feeling, right? It's not. It's always like riding a bike, or I'm not going to forget how to drive a horse, but 2 months off, it was different. It was different. Rolled in behind the gate, 2-year-old trotting filly. 1, you got to keep her trotting. 2, you got to make sure she gets a chance to win. 3, don't overstretch her. She's in with aged horses. Old Havana Una Na just come right out swinging with haymakers. Got away 4th. She was getting a little antsy in the 3 hole, so there was a horse parked. Horse on the favorite on the front. Second, I was the second favorite. 3rd favorite on the front. Horse parked. Favorite in the 2 hole. I'm sitting 4th. The flow starts coming. I move her to the outside. The horse first over immediately starts to back up. I wheeled her 3 wide. I'm going to tell you one thing. She was gone. She might only won by 3/4 of a length, but she tried her last half in 58 seconds flat, last quarter in 29 and a bit, and looked very, very, very good. Havana Una Na looked like an experienced horse, but that's how they're supposed to look, aren't they? Right, she was all business. All our horses last night. We'll talk about another one in a minute. That was crazy fast too. But Havana Una Na was lights out. Second one I went with Sunshine In. That was going to be my test for my wrist. Sunshine In can really pull. How's my wrist going to be? It was great. Everything worked out really, really well. I got her backed up. Got her backed up really good in the 3 holes. I left out of there, and I didn't want to use her too hard and be in a bad spot, so I let 2 of them in front of me. The horse in front of me walked. Had to come first over. Not really the forte of Sunshine In. They went in 54 and a piece. She paced 55 and 1 last. I don't know what her last quarter was. 29 a piece, 30 seconds, but looked really good. Sunshine In, the best mile of her life was last night, and looked great doing it. Then we came out with a little filly. Emerald Miss. Qualified okay. 2 minutes, 29 and 2 on the end of it at Mohawk. Not a bad mile. She's 350 on the board, so she's the favorite. Going to the gate. She doesn't want to go up to the car. So number 5 and 6 is right behind the box of the starting car. She can see the starter. It's a car. You can see the starter right there. She's timid. She won't go up to the gate. I start a length and 3/4 off the gate. 2 lengths off the gate. I get away 5th. I don't want to get her in trouble. She didn't warm up good. Run. We pulled her hobbles up, took some gear off her, changed some other stuff. I'm sitting 5th. She's a filly. If you really fight with her, she'll get root in her head and she'll make a break. She will once in a while. So I'm sitting 2 lengths back at the half. 6th or 7th on the 6th on the inside, I think. I started to the outside. Horse on the front's going lots, but he's no good. So he's about to collapse. Everybody files out in front of me. Now everybody's looking. You know, they all want to wait as long as they can. Heaven forbid you move 2 feet before. So they're all looking, and I can tell what's going to happen. I'm going to start this filly up fast. She's going to get into high gear, and 3 of them are going to come out in front of me. I didn't even bother. Started her up. She dug into her head check, and she was pacing. I just filed her 3.5, 4 wide, and went around the whole field. Drove away, driving off winner. 156-4. Her last 3/4 of a mile was charted in 124-2 on a 5/8 mile track. That is a fast little filly. Remember I told you she reminds me of her sister? More and more every day she takes a breath, she reminds me of her sister. Both had freakish, crazy speed. Both didn't look very, athletic. Didn't look like the horse to watch for. I'll tell you one thing. She's a horse to watch for. She looked so good last night. It was hard to believe. She was flying. For those of you who got to watch the race or were in attendance, you know what I'm talking about. She was all business. Then we come out with Beach Bum BB. If Sunshine Inn didn't have my wrist falling off, Beach Bum BB did. She was bad. Bad in the sense that she could pull. I didn't want to rough her up, so I didn't want her on the front. I wish I had put her on the front now. Got away third, spent 3/8 of a mile fighting with her, moved her to the outside. She attacked immediately. Felt like a winner around the last turn. I think her air just gave out a bit. That 3/8 of a mile where I was fighting with her, I think her air gave out a little bit. She got a little weak, 30-4 in the end of it. Mile 59, not a bad mile. And truthfully speaking, she actually was better than I thought she'd be. I was concerned she was a very mediocre horse. I liked what I saw last night. Is she a stake filly? No, but I talked to some trainers, to one trainer where our horses are going, we'll get to that in a second, about the classes down there. He said there's tons of classes down here outside of the top echelon of the Sire Stakes company, which is great. So it looks like we're going to have all 3 heading down there. Jailhouse Master, obviously Havana Unana, and now Beach Bum BB. And I think they're going to go to a gentleman named Tyler George. Now, I talked to Ross Leonard, very nice man. Really come down to very simple. I had a lot of clients from that area telling me who to send them to. Brandon Bates had her horses last year. Ross Leonard was a friend of people. Andrew Harris said Jeff Cullifer is a place to send them. I called Mr. Cullifer. He said, I'm full. Can't take your horses. Okay. Andrew said Tyler George does a good job. I called Mr. George. I talked to him on the phone for 30 minutes. Seemed like a really good guy. I just want the horses to go to the best shop, best place they're going to go. Best place they can go, right? I asked around. Tyler George seems like a good guy. So I told Tyler, I said, I'm going to come down a couple of times, drive these horses. I love this trot and filly, Havana Unana. I love Jailhouse Master. And Beach Bum BB, I think, is going to be a problem for some people. So I haven't, obviously my schedule is Ohio and Pennsylvania. It's always that way. I'm going to try to work Indiana in and see if I can get down there also. I just have to check the schedule out to make sure I can do it. But that's the scoop on Indiana. It's pretty much set in stone now. Those horses will be leaving probably the 1st of next week. I'd like to get a race into Jailhouse Master. So the 1st of next week, we're going to send, we are going to send Jailhouse Master, Beach Bum BB, and our girl Havana Unana to Tyler George in Indiana. Last time was Beach Bum BB, and then I raced Master Saver. He was 3rd, race great. Tried at 59. Very happy with him last night. Always happy. You know what? Master Saver's not a great horse, but he's a beautiful horse to drive, and I love driving this horse. Love driving this horse. He finished 3rd last night and raced great. We talked about that then. We had a little bit of an issue. We sent 2 to Sarnia. I thought they were both walkovers by the look of the program. Harness AM jogged. Before Harness AM, they scratched Excellent Nation. So Danny had told me 10 days ago, Excellent Nation, a little off left hind, a little off right front. No big deal. Send him to the vet. She said, not a whole lot wrong here. His knees were a little open. We injected his knees with polyglycan. We injected his hind ankles. They were a little puffy. She said the fluid was good. Nothing remarkable. I said, okay. So that was Monday. Wednesday, I think we trained him. Maybe that was Saturday. It doesn't matter. About 2 days later, I trained him at Mohawk with Harness AM, and the horse that qualified yesterday, the Amazing Sando. We come like 27 in a piece on the end of it, and we were flying. I have never seen Excellent Nation look as good. So Danny's telling me the day he went out to jog him that day, he said he's still left hind, right front. So my theory was simple. First off, I want to see what they do going fast. If there's any issues in a horse, you're going to see them going a quarter and 27 in a piece. No doubt. You can't hide them. And if you weren't positive after that, by the time they leave the bath rack, and if you jogged them the next day, one of those two places you're going to see some real issues. If there's issues to be seen, you're going to see them there. So, so that's what we did. We turned him out in the field the next day, watched him jog. He said he's the same. I said, is he any worse? No. I said, here's what I think happened. Mondays here, we don't jog the horses with hobbles on or in the mud. They don't have hobbles on, just an easy day. Sometimes when they don't have hobbles on, they switch back and forth, trot, pace, trot, pace. And what will happen sometimes, very rare, but it'll happen, they'll hit their, in transition to trotting and pacing, they'll jump on their foot once in a while, just do something stupid. Once in a while, they'll hit themselves on that back pastern where a trotter would hit. And there's just bone there, a little bit of skin right on the front of the pastern. This is what I think that, don't get me wrong, the hunter jumper people call a stinger. And standardbreds don't see it a lot, thoroughbreds I don't think. But when you go to a vet, and the vet we go to is a very good vet, she sees a lot of hunter jumpers also. Well, both her vets are good, but they all see hunter jumpers all the time. She called it a stinger. And it wasn't until I ran into somebody that was outside of the standardbred industry that told me what the stinger, where it came from. And I believe this is what's happened with this colt. Going fast, you don't see a thing. Going slow, you see plenty. So, I believe that's what's happened with Excellent Nation. He went down to Sarnia. I thought Danny scratched the horse. And I can't be angry. I would rather Danny be conservative and us get to the bottom of it than not. So immediately when I was informed at Kawartha Downs that Excellent Nation was scratched, first I was a little mad. And then I said, you know what? Danny's just doing his job. I called Danny. I wait and I call Danny. Finally I get a hold of him after the fourth one I drive. He said, no. He said he actually warmed up good. Better than he looked all week. The vet scratched him. I said, why? He said, I told the lady. She came down. I said, you know, first trip he probably warmed him up with no hobbles on, and he was goofing around and goofing around. Then he went out with hobbles on, and before you're saying it, you're saying to yourself, just leave the hobbles on him. It's not always like this, right? This is hindsight. And with this, you can't always have the hobbles on them all the time. That's neither here nor there. It's like saying, don't ever turn the horses out. They might injure themselves in the field. It's ridiculous. They can, they will. Kids will get hurt. Horses will get hurt. I'll get hurt. These things happen. So Danny said, well, you know, now this is from him to me to you. So third person. He said, you know, I'll go last trip with him and take a look at him. He warmed him up. He said, Anthony, I want him out on 33. Buzzed him on the end of it. I thought he looked awesome. She walks right up to me. She goes, I don't like how he looks. I'm going to scratch him. So at this point, Danny's telling me what took place. I know Danny. I would say Danny lost his mind, which I would too probably. But it's like, and as I said in the email last night to our clients, it's like arguing with a police officer that you weren't just speeding. It doesn't matter. You're not changing their mind. That veterinarian had made up her mind. And take into consideration the climate we have in all horse racing right now with horses getting injured and the optics of it. There's probably a lot of pressure on all these vets to err on the side, extra err on the side of caution. I don't blame them. So the horse was scratched. I just got here today. I jogged him. Looks the same to me as he always did. I scooted him along a little bit. I thought he looked fine. Now, I'm also going to be cautious. He's going back to the veterinarian on Monday afternoon. We're not sending him to Ohio Monday. We're going to send him Wednesday. I'm going to send him back to the vet on Monday afternoon. She's going to give another thorough exam. There's nothing to be found. I'm going to school him with age horses in 56 on Tuesday. Then he will go to Ohio, which I suspect will happen. Now, have to pass the vet check first. Obviously, she's going to go over this horse with a fine-tooth comb on Monday. Right front, left hind. Pretty easy. She's going to go over all four of his legs, his whole body. Left hind first, right front second. I'm going to say right front is a product of the left hind. The left hind is a stinger, as they say, or something of that nature, which, you know, just liniments, work on them, cold water hose, sweat him at night, just horsemanship. And I think he'll be fine. But let's wait and see. Monday afternoon, we'll all know at 4 o'clock if there's any issues with Excellent Nation. Certainly wasn't any issues with Harness AM. First over, obliterated them 2 minutes. We've had some good-looking 2-year-olds so far, raced against some aged horses. And you know what? I hate it. Some people, you know, I heard somebody said, oh, I told some of your horses look great. And their answer was, yeah, they're racing against pigs in the maidens and non-winners of one. And I take offense to that. You know, Havana una na. beat 3 and 4-year-olds yesterday. Harness AM beat 3 and 4-year-olds. Yeah, they're horses that are a little mediocre, but they got to win. Nobody's giving anybody any wins or money anywhere, and our horses looked really, really good. I was very happy. If you can't tell, if you're going to try and tell me that a 2-year-old trotting filly winning her first start, her first lifetime start, 59 and 3, last half 58, last quarter and 29, isn't impressive, you're an idiot. And that's how I feel about it. So, I was ecstatic. Libero Hanover kicked it off last week. Harness AM, Emerald Miss, and our girl Havana Unana. We've had 4 2-year-old winners already in Canada, and it's June 22nd. Certainly not embarrassed over that. We're heading down the road right now with Just For Me and You in a minute, and Just For Me and You and Globetrotting. That 4 could easily turn into a 6 with a little bit of racing luck tonight. So, oh no. Mommy's not happy because Adeline is having a cranky day, but I guess she's like horses, isn't she? Anyway, what else do we got? We've had a good run. Hopefully have a good, I'd love to see Just a Tad do good tonight too. Small field, got his feet fixed up, put his old shoes back. Kind of, not the exact same pair of shoes on him. Similar, they're on him tonight. Oso Pine, race better. I had a conversation with a client last night that was buying up some shares of Oso Pine, and I told him, I said, people don't realize Oso Pine trotted him 56 2 weeks ago, trotted what, 58, 57 the other night. People are trying to sell him for $23,000 in a condition claimer right here. He goes for 24. I just think people are giving money away, but that's me. Maybe I'm wrong. What else? We had lots of horses qualify. You're gonna have a qualifying report that I had sent out yesterday. I'll put it on this email also. Maybe I'll list both of them, I guess. The one from Friday, the one from Saturday. We'll put both of them on. We have our webinar, webcast, whatever you want to call it, coming up Tuesday. We had to move it from Tuesday because I'm going to Buffalo to drive Really Blue Chip. Now, before I get to the webcast, we're talking about Really Blue Chip. I wanted to race Really Blue Chip. I asked the race secretary, can you put me in the first race? Yep. The reason for this is important. Really Blue Chip at 5 o'clock. I was going to get in my car and drive to Cleveland. 3-hour drive. Called the race secretary in Cleveland. Can you put me in the 9th or 10th race? We'll spend that money. I can make it. No problem, Anthony. Awesome. Cleveland drew first. Northfield Park. 9th race. Bingo. Buffalo draws. Puts me in the 8th. Come on, man. Puts me in the 8th. So James loves spend that money. I said, listen, how much do you love her? He goes, well, I want to drive her first start. Okay. You want to drive her first start? No problem. You have to go to Cleveland to drive her this Wednesday, though, in an overnight. So James is going to go drive in Cleveland on Wednesday. He's going to go drive Spend That Money in a maiden. I'm going to drive Really Blue Chip. Now, we trained Really Blue Chip the same day we trained Excellent Nation. Or no, on Saturday. Trained Rooney Blue Chip and Really and Rooney Blue Chip together. Rooney was good. Really Blue Chip rolled up alongside him halfway down the lane, just rolled off. I said, I've had enough of this. What are my options here? Add weight, take weight off. What I'd like to do is put the hobbles on, but she's never had them on in her life and never qualified with them. Then a light goes off, and I said, I remember 2 years ago them talking about changing the rule in New Jersey. That's how What the Hill, if you remember, if you guys were there, when What the Hill was disqualified in the final of the Hambletonian, what had happened that day